Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the San Marcos City Council meeting for April 23rd, 2024. If you could please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have the blessing to have our AYSO soccer team lead us in the pledge. I think you should all come up if you don't mind, and then two of you can speak. We really want to appreciate all your cuteness. Okay, we're ready when you are.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now that was an amazing team job. Thank you. Next up, we have our invocation from Tracy Moss with North Coast Church.
Mayor Jones and Council, thank you. Let's pray. Gracious God, we're here today to conduct matters of importance for the city of San Marcos. We thank you for these civil servants that are giving of their time, their talents, their wisdom. But we lean on you for ultimate guidance on best decisions as they talk about all the pieces that make this great community what it is. So we ask for you to be in the presence here, guiding and directing decisions and discussions. God, we also thank you for a group of young women who have worked hard with their skill sets and their giftings in soccer. We ask that you bless them in this community, that they stay in this community, and they do great things in this community. And as we talk about and we raise awareness for the youth and the children, and for those who are lacking, God, will you give us great wisdom that we might honor you? It's in this that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Skollick, could you please lead us in the roll call?
Councilmember Musgrove? Here. Councilmember Nunez?
Present.
Councilmember Sinella?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jenkins?
Here.
And Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, if the council could please join me in the front. We have some proclamations. So one of the best parts of our job is when we get to recognize the young people in our community that have done amazing things. And I'm sorry, did we have a great Pledge of Allegiance today? I think it was the best one we've had, yes. Your voices are just so sweet. Anyway, we're really excited to have you here today. I'm going to read one, and then I'd like the coach to come up with the team as well, Stephen Uri. The San Marcos City Council does here present to you an honorable certificate of recognition to the AYSO United North County girls team and the remarkable victory at SoCal State Cup 2024. Their triumph is a testament of their relentless pursuit of success and their ability to overcome challenges with both grace and determination. We, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, proudly congratulate you on your performance and sportsmanship throughout the tournament. And believe me, sportsmanship is something that all of us value, but as you get to be an adult, it's even more important because if you conduct yourself in a manner that brings grace to the situation, everyone notices, trust me. So we're really excited. If you want to come up and tell a few things about the games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to call all of you ladies up, but I'd like for your coach to talk a little bit about what you did.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Madam Mayor and council members, for having us here today. It's a very special day for us. I've lived in San Marcos for 20 years, and I've been coaching in the community AYSO Region 1505 for about 16 years. And by far, these girls are the best team I've ever coached. And they are, without doubt, the best AYSO team of their age group in the state of California. And going through the state cup was an incredible experience. They fought, they never gave up. In the semifinals and the quarterfinals, they came back 3 times, took the games to a shootout, and we probably have in our goalkeeper, and I say this without hesitation, a U.S. Olympic team goalkeeper. If she keeps it up, she's absolutely fantastic. And we've got several players that could go all the way, and all from San Marcos. Wow. So the community should be very proud of them and remember them. And hopefully, this is not the only time that we'll be here, because we plan to be back several more times on this journey. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, now, wait, you can't go anywhere yet. We're going to be taking a picture at the end. Sorry, I knew you could stay up here the longest. Okay, Stephanie Tsai, come on down.
She's our team manager.
Yes, team manager, because nothing could get done, and making sure you have the snacks and all of that. I know how important that all is. Probably when you were kind of needed to come back, you probably needed just a little more Gatorade and some great snacks. So anyway, thank you for your help on that. There you go. Okay. All right. All right. Reagan Chang. Congratulations. Lauren Beltran. And you get to shake everyone's hands. Emily Carson. You're very welcome. Reagan Felisak. Naomi Fleming. How did it go with 2 Reagans on the team? That's probably a tough one.
And both their mothers are named Stephanie.
How? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Jordan Jones. And no, we're not related, but since you're a good sportsman, I really appreciate that, so maybe we really are. Hazel Marsh. Congratulations. Indigo Mercer. Muser. Okay. You need to tell me how to say it right. I'm sorry. Messer. Musser. Okay, there you go. I'm so sorry. We mayors do that. We're not perfect. Kylie Rankin. Congratulations. You're very welcome. Harper Schneider. The goalie. Congratulations. And Keegan Vitrosky. Congratulations. All right, now we're all going to do what I said. We're going to take a picture, okay? We're going to scooch together. And it's very rare that we council members are a little bit taller than everyone, because everyone's usually taller than us. But this time, I think we're good.
Down the back.
Do you need us to for a change?
Either last come on the end, you can kind of come in front or squeeze in. There you go. Perfect. You guys have done this before. 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling.
All right, we'll see you ladies back next year.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
See you next year.
Yes, we'll see you next year. And one thing I would like to say, a congratulations to the parents, because it is a lot of hard work with all of those games and practices and everything. So thank you very much for your support of your young women. Really appreciate it. Let's give them a hand too. Thank you. Now go get your homework done, ladies. Make sure you keep your grades up. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. We'll let them go get their homework done, really. Okay, next up is the San Marcos City Council hereby recognizes Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so we will have Kathy Carpe from Casa de Amparo come up, and Heather Jenkins, I think, she also works there, but she's going to be, I think, photography today, right? Okay, I'm going to read this. The San Marcos City Council hereby recognizes this month, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are the most vulnerable members as well as our nation's most valuable resources, helping shape the future of San Marcos. Whereas positive childhood experiences like loving caregivers and safe, stable, and nurturing relationships can help mitigate trauma and the negative impact of adverse childhood experiences to promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. Childhood trauma can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects throughout an individual's lifetime and impact future generations of their family. Childhood trauma, including abuse and neglect, is a serious problem affecting every community in the United States, and finding solutions requires input and action from all of us. Children who live in families with access to concrete economic and social supports are less likely to experience abuse and neglect. Prevention is possible because of the partnerships created between families, prevention advocates, child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and local, state, and national governments. We acknowledge that in order to solve public health issue of abuse and neglect, we must work together to change hearts and mindsets. Through storytelling and sharing, center the needs of families, break down bias and barriers, and inspire action from partners in prevention. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, hereby proclaim April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in San Marcos and urge all of our citizens to dedicate themselves to protect the quality of life for all of the families and children so that we can end child neglect and abuse. Thank you, Kathy. This is, I know it's a sad thing, but it's also a good thing that we have organizations like Casa de Amparo in our community that are nurturing our kids and helping them become survivors instead of victims. So anyway, thank you for your work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And then if you'd like to say a few words.
Sure,
Right,
absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jones, and to the City Council. We really appreciate the support that we've received for all of these years. We've been in San Marcos now since, gosh, I think it's 2011 now. And we also appreciate the support that we receive through our local law enforcement. They have to visit us quite often, but we are proud to be members of the San Marcos community, and we're always looking for volunteers. And we really appreciate everyone's support. So thank you for recognizing us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. I do have a question for you because there are times when people can donate things to the Casa de Amparo community. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that real quick and just give yourself a plug?
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, we have a big event coming up on Sunday. It's the Meet the Chefs event, so that's a way that you can help. That's at the Hilton Del Mar. So we have special events all throughout the year. We also accept cash contributions. You can do that online at casadeamparo.org. And we also, through the Holiday Donation Center here in San Marcos, we collect items that really help us throughout the year to provide homes for our kids. So we have everything online that you can kind of find a way to get involved, whether it be volunteering or wrapping gifts at Christmas time or doing a food drive. So we have all different ways that you can get involved. So
Do you
thank you.
still have the Amazon donation?
We do. We have an Amazon donation. You should be
I've done
on
it before.
staff. My goodness, you know what we need. So thank you. But yeah, visit www.casadeamparo.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's very easy. You just go online, order everything, and it goes straight to Casa de Amparo, so you don't even have to take it over. Okay, we're going to take a quick picture. Wait. Don't be running off. Don't be running off. Heather came for a reason.
Oh, I was going to say. Gotta make Heather.
repeat this.
Okay.
One more, Heather, because I was looking this way.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks. Take care, everyone. Okay.
Okay, Fair Housing Month. We have Amelia Romero from Legal Aid. Hi. Okay, this is a lot to read. The San Marcos City Council hereby recognizes Fair Housing Month, whereas April 11th marks the 56th anniversary of the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which made it illegal to discriminate on the basis of race, color, sex, national origin, or religion in the sale or rental of housing. Whereas the City of San Marcos is committed to highlight the Fair Housing Act, oh my gosh, I'm like, wait a second, 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing, sorry, that's actually 13, by continuing to address discrimination in our community to support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities. And whereas when access to housing is unfairly limited, it in turn limits access to good-paying jobs, quality schools, and economic opportunity. The City of San Marcos affirmatively furthers fair housing by providing fair housing services, testing, and information to residents as part of the Fair Housing Program adopted by the City Council. And whereas the City of San Marcos is a member of the San Diego Regional Alliance for Fair Housing, whose mission it is to promote fair housing throughout the region. And whereas the federal government has designated the month of April as Fair Housing Month, during which interested parties from the public and private sector will participate in a nationwide effort to provide education about fair housing laws and to promote fair housing practices. Therefore, we, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Fair Housing Month and encourage citizens of San Marcos to become more aware of their rights and responsibilities within our community. Thank you. Would you like to come over and say a few words? And I guess it actually is 8. I'm tired tonight, and I'm like, wait, I haven't read those in a while.
Thank you, Mayor, and to the entire City of San Marcos, City Council, and the city staff for all of the work that you do every day. We're proud to call you a partner and to accept this recognition of our work to ensure that City of San Marcos residents have fair and equal access to housing. Unfortunately, Amalia couldn't be here this evening, but my name is Joanne Franciscus, and I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. Legal Aid provides free legal services to indigent residents throughout the county, including those in the City of San Marcos. Our mission is to improve lives by advancing justice through effective, efficient, and vigorous legal advocacy, outreach, and education. In 1968, Congress passed the Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination in the purchase, sale, rental, and financing of housing. The act and its legacy represent stability, hope, safety, and opportunities to break out of the cycle of poverty. But unfortunately, the passage of the act did not end discrimination. 56 years later, there is still much work to be done. Over the course of the last few years, our office has handled hundreds of housing cases for San Marcos residents who are struggling to access housing and maintain housing stability, benefiting nearly 1,000 individuals. Every day, Supervising Attorney Hillary Shorts and our other fair housing lawyers and staff continue to protect the civil rights of City of San Marcos residents by preventing and redressing discriminatory conduct through a wide variety of assistance. We educate landlords, tenants, and our government partners about their rights and responsibilities under fair housing laws. We help obtain reasonable accommodations based on disability, file administrative claims, and bring impact litigation. We run a fair housing testing program to uncover and end discriminatory practices by housing providers. These tools ensure that the Fair Housing Act remains an effective tool for justice. As we all know, laws are created to protect us, but laws alone do not bridge the gap to justice. They need someone to enforce them. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Thank you to the City of San Marcos for partnering with us so that we can continue to fight for justice and equal access to housing for all City of San Marcos residents, not just during Fair Housing Month, but throughout the year.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let's give him a hand one more time. All right, one last thing. So yesterday, do you know what yesterday was? It was Earth Day. So we have Reed Thornberry. He's from our City of San Marcos Watershed Program Manager. Reed, come on down. So were you were part of yesterday's cleanup, or no, it was actually Saturday's
Saturday,
cleanup.
correct.
Yesterday I did a hike at Discovery Lake for, there you are, there's some pictures. Now, there's a little fact here. 1,420 pounds of trash and debris were collected during the Creek to Bay cleanup. Was that just us?
That was
or
just
was it?
us. That was-
Wow,
that was just-
look at all that stuff, guys. Ew, where is that? Where's that located?
That's open lot area across from the movie theater, across from Los Pozos.
Wait,
So,
that's a sensitive habitat area too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, well,
So, just outside of that, but that easement trail there was where we focused and within the creek as well.
wow, that's a lot of stuff. Well, I'm going to read this real quick. The San Marcos City Council hereby recognizes Earth Day. Earth Day annually promotes environmental awareness and encourages ongoing action. The Earth Day theme for 2024 is Planet versus Plastics, aiming to fight the big problem of plastic all over the world and its effects on human and planetary health. And the inaugural Earth Day, celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, marked a significant milestone in environmental advocacy, leading to significant environmental changes in the United States, like the EPA being formed, and landmark environmental laws like the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, and Endangered Species Act as well. Earth Day expanded globally in 1990, involving 200 million people in 141 countries, and contributing to the momentum of the 1992 United Nations Earth Summit. Then and now, Earth Day symbolizes bringing people from all walks of life together for one common goal, leaving a sustainable world for future generations. We, the City Council of the City of San Marcos, hereby do proclaim April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day, and encourage all of our residents to shop sustainably, vote, participate in cleanups, and practice climate literacy. One other thing I would like to add, enjoy our parks and our trails, because we really love to have our citizens out and about enjoying them. And there I am at Discovery Lake with some of the people that came and walked with me. So thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much. I really appreciate
There
it.
you go.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, so you get to take a picture with us.
Great.
Thank you for all that hard work. It's a lot of
job.
stuff, 1,400.
Awesome job. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate it.
a lot. Anyway, right here.
Okay, great.
Okay.
One, two, three. One, two, three.
Thank you for your past help as
Of
well.
course, yes,
Yeah, I
of
know you
course.
participated before.
Yes, I couldn't do it on Saturday. I actually, one year, carried out, was it two tires out of the, yeah. Yeah, it was actually, yeah, tires out of the creek. Anyway, I just wanted to mention, again, if you haven't been to all of our trails, we have 72 miles of them, so really go out and enjoy them in our city. And thank you. All right. So now we will get on to business. So we'll be going on to the consent calendar. Do we have any items which any council members care to pull from the consent calendar? If not, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Go ahead. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any noes? Okay, consent calendar passes. So next we will move on to our first oral communications. Let's see, we have Leah Ertel, Kiana Monaco, and Ada Lopez that are going to be speaking. So come on up to the podium, and I apologize in advance. I do this nearly every time. I forget to pull the microphone onto the other side, so just pull it and go right ahead. Thank you for coming this evening, by the way.
Thank you for having us. Okay. Hi there, Mrs. Mayor and council members. Thank you for having us here and having us be able to speak. My name is Leah Ertel. I am joined with Kiana Monaco and Ida Lopez.
We are Girl Scouts, and this is our last year as we are the class of 2024, so we are graduating this year. And so we've done many things for Girl Scouts, many journeys and projects. We've earned our Bronze Award, our Silver Award, and we've just all earned our Gold Award. And as a part of that, we've had to work on journeys and badges. And so for our final badge we're working on our advocacy badge. And this is where we help people, well, so it's an advocacy badge. So basically what we do for this is how we get the younger generation or just anything involved in the government, and that's what we're focusing on. And as you see that a lot of people don't seem to be involved in the government as much. That's a thing called voter apathy. People think that voting is worthless, like their votes don't count, or like they literally don't count, and don't feel like that their votes count. So how we seek to solve that is different things that we hope that you can maybe involve into the school districts, or just what we think would help to get the younger generation to be able to participate in our democracy. So the first one would be exposing to internships. It's a great way to get involved, just exposed to what people like you do for our community, and then just how to learn about our democracy. Guest speakers from both sides. In my school, I have a great government teacher. She had one of our congressmen come and speak to us, our whole government class, and it was great. But we would also love to hear the other sides. As he's from one party, we never heard the other. It'd be nice to learn both sides so we both can get excited about our government, but also know that there's options to choose from. Another one would be current events. We learn about a lot about like the past and history, but we don't learn a lot about what's happening and affecting us now and our present and our future. And if we're able to learn about things that are affecting us now, that would get a lot of more students. It is so important, as it's our right to vote, and our America is popular sovereignty, right? We the people, the power is in our hands. You guys work for us, we elect you, and we talk to you about policies and problems that we want, and that'll help benefit us for the future. So, thank you. Anything you'd like to add? You good? No?
good.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Mayor.
Thank you. And I wanted to make one comment. So I actually spoke to these young ladies before the meeting. They're all 18 now, and they all are registered to vote. So they'll be voting for the first time this year in the election. It's a really exciting time because your vote does matter, and I know that each one of us up here, being that we're elected, we know that every vote counts, and how important that actually is. And I would definitely encourage you all to show up, but when you go back to school, I think it's important that you talk to your teachers. I know I am absolutely 100% willing to go. I've gone to many classes. Whenever I'm invited, I literally try to show up because I think it is important for, especially in local races, to know who your candidates are, but to know who your elected leaders are so you can have your voices heard, because it is very, very important. And you know what? The good thing is we're easily approachable because we're right here. I mean, we really do. We're very engaged with the community. So thank you for your efforts. Really appreciate all three of you, and hope to see you soon. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Okay, next up is Antonia Montoya, Simona Rincon, Irma Raimundo, Lila, and Elizabeth Santos. They do not wish to speak, but they are here as Villa Serena residents. They wanted us to acknowledge that they were here. And then John Mosher from San Marcos Mobile Estates. I was going to suggest that you talk to Legal Aid Society. They were here earlier.
Yeah.
I thought that I would mention that. Oh, they are still
I
here.
made a note.
Okay, great. Sorry, I thought they left. Sorry.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members, Michelle, Helen, and Phil. I'm here to talk about the process we're going through at San Marcos Mobile Estates, prepping for our rent review hearing, trying to get the items, the maintenance issues that we've been facing for many years resolved. When we were here a couple years ago at the rent review hearing, they were granted an increase with the understanding they'd take care of our streets. They did a partial job, and they left a lot that's basically fallen apart. Other items that we ran into have been left. A few retaining walls are fixed. Those glass panels up in the front by Barham, they're supposed to be protective. They're still missing. That's been years. So basically, this year, what we're doing was pushing to make sure, in exchange for any kind of agreement, that they actually gave us a timeline or started fixing stuff. I know Marlene's been here. We've talked, like the jacuzzi. It's been out for a year and a half, and we're still locked out of it. A kicker happened is that, beginning with March, they brought in a brand new management company, and with that change, I believe last meeting, Marlene was here and she let you guys know that they started billing us for meters. It's like a county fee. We've never been billed for that. There's always, they make profit off what we pay them in the utilities. We know that from the hearing. We know they cleared 30 grand that wasn't put back into the park. They're their meters, not ours. And they're using something, an assembly bill that allows parks to pass through these fees. But the key is, if they're following the legal way of doing it, and in our park, many of us still have our original meters, which are supposed to be changed out and taken to the county every 10 years, recertified and put back into service or replaced. That's what that fee is for. So I pushed back on that with some of the correspondence Helen and Phil were party to, and said, if you were legally following it, that would be one thing. But for all of us that we still have original meters, we shouldn't be charged that until you actually change it out. What happened today was, the packet I've given you on the top is they sent out this notice to the residents today. Instead of having a meeting again, we had one in February. And in February, they were told that we were sticking to 2.5%, maybe go up to 3 is what authorized, because basically a CPI disagreement as to which one was valid. And this was handed out today. On the heels of Friday, everybody received in the mail an invoice for next month's rent that was at a 5.2% increase. They already had an increase in there that they had asked for. So everybody got billed that. They were up in arms. We contacted the owners. We've asked them to rectify it. Yesterday I got a response because the main principal of the new management company is now on vacation from yesterday through May 10th. We got somebody underneath them to say they would fix them. But there's been problems with those bills, the past bill on the meters, and today this is what our residents were given. They weren't told anything, that we still have a hearing outstanding, that we still have time. What I included in here too is what I gave to board members last week to say, no matter what, we need to make sure they at least take care of the jacuzzi, get that pool deck. Michael's good enough to see it, some of the stuff you guys saw a few years ago. The list that I included there is what I sent to the board to get to the residents. And basically, since they've only given the people till Friday with no information, I'll be giving them a copy of what I've given you tonight, tomorrow, so they can see what's going on and make an informed decision. You know, at least we could try and get something done. The last thing I included was something I received last week from the HOA president. I'm working on a response to that. It's sad. But anyway, I also wanted to check, Helen, I hadn't seen anything. Has a revised date been set? I know we had talked about in June, or was that still being worked on for the rent review hearing?
You informed us that you continued it for a month. We are checking the schedules now to see whether that is feasible. As soon as that has been determined, the parties will receive notice.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next up is our public hearings. We have item number 11, Resolution 2024-9282, Community Development Block Grant Program Year 24-25, Annual Action Plan and Approval. Sylvia.
Good evening, and Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Sylvia Solis-Daniels. I'm the Housing and Neighborhood Services Manager, and this is Quentin Hufford, the Housing and Neighborhood Services Analyst. Tonight, we'll present the public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development annually provides funding to eligible jurisdictions through the Federal Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG, the entitlement program. Funds must be used for eligible projects and programs that benefit low and moderate income individuals and households in the city of San Marcos that are consistent with the national objectives and the city's approved 2020 through 2024 consolidated plan. To receive funding, the city must prepare and adopt an annual action plan, which includes 2 public hearings that state the use of CDBG resources for the fiscal year. CDBG funds are used primarily to support public services, program administration, affirmatively furthering fair housing, and public facility or capital improvement projects. The city anticipates an award of $710,000, which is based on the prior year allocation, as HUD has not released the current allocation amount. The 2024-25 Annual Action Plan was published on our website on March 23rd for a 30-day public review period. The public comment period will close at the end of tonight's public comment hearing. The CDBG program can utilize funds through the following activities: program administration, which can utilize up to 20% of the annual allocation, and staff recommends allocating the 20%, $142,000 to administration. Public service programs, which can utilize a max of 15% of the annual allocation to fund nonprofit and social service providers to serve low and moderate income clientele. Staff recommends funding 6 public service providers, including the Legal Aid Society of San Diego, Boys and Girls Club, the Senior Nutrition Program, Community Resources Center, Elder Help, and Meals on Wheels, for a total of $106,000. Community development, also known as capital projects, and the annual action plan are not limited to a maximum allocation, but can include infrastructure improvements and cannot include maintenance and repair of public facilities. The 2024 and 25 annual action plan estimates allocating $461,000 to fund capital projects focused on the senior center, HVAC, planning, and construction. This concludes our presentation, and we're available for questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? No? No questions. We do have, I'm sorry, Maria? Councilmember Nunez?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have some questions about the funding allocations that I'm looking at. Can you connect some dots for me? How do we put together the allocations? And it's not entirely obvious to me really how we came about. So for instance, when I look at the first allocation to Legal Aid Society of San Diego, are these funds to maybe some other funding that we have, other contracts pending with legal aid, or is this the sole source of funding, the relationship that we have?
We conducted a request for proposals for a 5-year contract with Legal Aid Society of San Diego approximately 4 years ago, so it was not sole source. They were the selected preferred bidder for, that is our only contract with Legal Aid Society.
And when's that set to expire?
At the end of this calendar year.
Okay.
Or at the end of this, I'm sorry, the annual action plan year, so in approximately 1 year from now.
Okay. So is the idea that then this would replace that contract, or?
This would just be for 1 year, so we'll also do another request for proposals within the next 6 to 8 months for another 5-year contract.
So what kinds of services can our residents expect then to receive from legal aid for this funding?
So it's the services legal aid spoke about earlier, the tenants' rights advocacy, the monitoring, the testing. It's also an open 24-hour access line of inquiry for a direct access to an attorney, also just correspondence with if there's any tenants issues with landlords.
And so that means then a resident potentially can end up having representation, direct representation by legal aid?
Certainly, yes.
Okay. And then some of the other, like for instance, with the Boys and Girls Club, how does this connect to housing, the funding allocation for the 20,000?
So it's not a direct connection. They don't all have to directly connect to housing. They're public services aimed at supporting the low to moderate income individuals. So that's the nexus. Their service population is low, moderate income youth.
And is it, I'm just trying to think then, are they specific services or programs that would qualify for the funding?
Any services that are direct support of LMI communities. So for example, the Boys and Girls Club, their direct service for this application is the summer camp resource. And so it's going to support low mod income youth going to summer camp. Things like the Elder Help is housing placement and resources for low mod income and seniors are a presumed benefit group.
Okay, thank you for that. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Okay, if not, we do have two speakers. We have Richard Radosh from the Community Resource Center, followed by Dave Forbes. Dave Forbes.
Mayor, members of the council, city staff, and the audience behind me, good evening. I'm Richard Radosh. I'm the Grants and Contracts Manager for Community Resource Center. First, thank you for considering our application for this Community Development Block Grant. I wanted to give you a brief overview of CRC and our Latino Advocacy Project, the program that we're asking you to support. CRC, next slide please. CRC's mission is to help our neighbors create paths to healthy food, stable homes, and safe relationships. Founded in 1979, CRC provides emergency assistance, case management, counseling, shelter, and food assistance to low-income individuals and families who are economically vulnerable, experiencing homelessness, or at imminent risk of homelessness, including domestic violence survivors and victims of crime or abuse. Next slide, please. Next. Thanks. The goal of our Latino advocacy program is to increase access to culturally appropriate victim services for Latino victims and survivors of crime or abuse. Our program fits the CDBG priority of community services such as nutrition, crime prevention, and mental health care. Our program provides trauma-informed victim advocacy services to economically insecure, underserved victims and survivors of crime, including those who have included intimate partner violence, sexual assault, child or elder abuse. Next, please. So for a quick overview, what we've done so far is I have listed here our 2023 achievements. We helped 30 families with financial assistance for emergency motel placement, transportation, utilities, immigration fees, or internet support. We provided victim advocacy, temporary restraining order assistance, rental assistance, short-term housing assistance, child care, and help with preparing and submitting California Victims Compensation Board claims. We provide counseling services And parenthetically, we do this at One Safe Place in San Marcos. That's where our program is operating. So we've got counseling services, crisis management. One of our licensed clinicians just started a Spanish group therapy group. They're having their first or second meeting in the next week or so. And then we coordinate with community partners such as San Diego Shelter and Supportive Services Committee and the San Diego Domestic Violence Council. We provide resources and referrals, and did in 2023, in Spanish and English for healthy food, shelter, housing, education, medical, legal, and immigration resources and services. I'll do my best to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Richard. You actually answered one of my questions was, are you working with One Safe Place? Because a lot of the things that you offer actually are very similar, so I would think that you do, which you do.
Yeah, we do. CRC is one of the anchor partners of One Safe Place, and we were able to move this program there because of that.
Right. I think they have about 90 service providers, so you're one of the 90, so that's awesome. Could you do me a favor and leave your card with our clerk, because I would like to talk to you about one of the things you talked about, healthy food. I actually have some thoughts on that, because a lot of folks, including myself at one point in time, we don't know what we don't know about how food can affect our bodies in a positive way. So I would like to talk to you about that at a later time. But I like the things that you're doing, and I really appreciate your efforts in our community. And thank you very much for doing that. Any other questions from the council? Nope. Oh, yes.
I have
Sorry,
one.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you for being here. The 30 families you mentioned.
Yes.
Are those in North County? Or
They're in San Marcos.
those are San Marcos families?
Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
North County.
I jumped to that conclusion too quickly. They were served at One Safe Place.
Okay.
And I assume, but
Okay.
I don't know,
They could be
that
from
many of
anywhere.
them
Okay.
were from San Marcos.
That makes sense. Okay,
Thank you. Councilmember Nunez?
Thank you, Mayor. So I do have a follow-up question to that. So what's your service area? I'm trying to think, so who would go to utilize your services and who would qualify?
For this community development
For
block grant?
anybody.
Oh, well, we have our main office is in Encinitas. And we have a satellite office also in Carlsbad. And we serve almost 100% of our clients, we serve about 6,400 per year, are very low income, like 30% of AMI or less. And while I don't remember the specific numbers, that's like the federal poverty level. So it's like 17,000 or so per year for an individual, when the cost of making ends meet in our community is probably 80,000 for a single individual.
So you're giving me numbers for this, your specific Latino advocacy program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about, so I don't have a sense of who I could refer to you for you to help. Like, for instance, one of the things that I take note in your advocacy and counseling 2023 achievements under number 5, you mentioned that you, legal and immigration services. So what does that look like? If I have somebody that needs what, how do they end up with immigration legal services?
More than likely, our case managers would be providing them with a referral to Legal Aid Society, for example, or Casa Cornelia for immigration help, or any of the other nonprofit legal firms that
Okay,
that
so can
handle
you
that
help
type
me?
of work.
Because I'm very familiar with Casa Cornelia, and I'm very familiar with some of these providers.
Yes.
So are these specific fundings, or are you making a general referral, or
No, it would
what
be-
does that look
yeah,
like?
It would be a general referral. We're, as much as we would like to, we're just not in a position to fund the legal services for the people who need that help.
And I'm trying to figure out who is. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. Some of the providers have their own sources of funding and fundraising to help provide legal services for people who couldn't otherwise afford it. But it's just not my area, so I don't know the answer. Sorry.
Okay, so then what would it look like then? If I have somebody that's a victim of what, or how would I know to send somebody your way?
The people who come to us for help are people escaping from domestic violence, people who are experiencing homelessness, people who are facing imminent eviction.
So if I have somebody then in front of me that is facing imminent eviction, so what would that look like? Am I gonna send them to One Safe Place, or is there a number? How do I get them in contact with your services?
You can connect through our website, crcncc.org.
Okay.
The website has our telephone number.
So if I call right now, somebody's gonna pick up the number?
Well, it's a voice message system, but it can
Okay.
get you to the right place, yes.
Okay, so if I have a Spanish speaker that's in need of immediate services,
Yes.
so then how soon is somebody going to respond?
If they call, of course, it depends on their problem.
So let's say they're a victim of domestic violence,
then
and
they
they're in
could-
front of me.
Yeah, CRC has its own domestic violence hotline. And so if they call our domestic violence hotline, they will speak to somebody immediately. If they call our general intake number for like help with housing assistance, trying to stave off eviction, it might be a day, 24 hours to get a return phone call, depending on the time of day they call. If the call comes in the morning, they're probably going to hear from somebody that day.
So can I jump in here? Councilmember, if someone is facing a domestic violence situation, they need to call law enforcement so that we can make sure they're safe. I think too, that I don't see that as being really something that you do, that you take someone off of the streets that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I do want to understand exactly what it is that you do. I think you're more of a clearinghouse, helping them, because for $24,000 a year, you're helping them get the right services. Though, based on what is in these achievements, I think you might help them with like emergency motel placement, transportation, utilities, fees. But I think a lot of the things like keeping them safe would definitely be through law enforcement, because because you're not law enforcement, I think
Right.
you're more of a clearinghouse. Yes, so you've got your victim advocacy, you're helping them, connect them at One Safe Place. One Safe Place is not for someone that is facing an eviction because they're not in a domestic violence or any sort of abuse situation. The way I see it is that One Safe Place is for anyone that is a victim of any sort of abuse, whether it be elder abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, anything like that, but definitely making sure that they are calling law enforcement so that they're being kept safe is the first thing that they need to be doing. Certainly not, I think, coming to you. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, but we do operate a domestic violence shelter, and we are able to take people in immediately.
But-
Whether they call, it's like there's no wrong entry point.
Yeah.
So if they call us, if they also need to call law enforcement, our staff are well-trained and will get them where they need to go, as well as doing their best to take care of them right away.
Yeah, but you're going to ultimately call law enforcement, I would think, to get them out of a very bad situation. I mean, they're not going to call you as a first priority before law enforcement, I wouldn't think.
Right, well, it happens in all the theme and variations you can think of.
Okay.
We can get calls from people who were in their home and the abuser just happens to be away for the moment.
Yeah.
Or we get calls from people who left home but have no place to go.
Yes, but if they're in imminent danger, they wouldn't call you as a first line of defense. They would need to call law enforcement.
It would be better if they did, but yeah.
For sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
And-
and the people who come to One Safe Place are screened by One Safe Place staff, who then send them to CRC, our office there, if we're the right place for them. So I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions, Councilmember?
Not
I just-
at the
okay.
moment, thank
Okay,
you.
great. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you. Next up is going to be Dave Forbes.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, council, and others present tonight. I'm Dave Forbes, and I'm speaking on behalf of Meals on Wheels of San Diego County regarding the funding of $25,000 for the San Marcos Community Grant Program year 2024-2025. Our mission is to nourish minds, bodies, and spirits of seniors and disabled veterans. Meals on Wheels provides fresh meals to seniors in the city of San Marcos daily, accompanied by a safety check, social visit, care navigator support, and referrals to other services, if necessary, every day of the week, including holidays. Funds will be used for food and packaging for the meals to be delivered to homes of food insecure, at-risk seniors in San Marcos. Much more than a meal. Our Care Navigator program has had thousands of touchpoint interactions with our volunteers. Through our partners, we're able to provide rides to doctor's appointments. They can install smoke detectors, repair, replace wheelchair ramps, numerous things. And our collaboration builds strength. As of Q3 of the current program year 2022-2023, we have achieved 83% of our goal. We've provided 13,047 meals to 132 San Marcos seniors, of which 98% were low to moderate income. All services are subsidized 60%, and further subsidies are provided by those who qualify. Continuation of the City San Marcos funds is needed to reach and serve newly identified at-risk seniors who require our services. Meals on Wheels is thankful to the city staff for their recommendation for funding and ask the City Council to authorize funding following this recommendation. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
Any questions of Dave from the council? Yes, council member.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being here. I do have one question. How do you identify the seniors that are in need of your services?
Well, we have guidelines basically with age and medical conditions to the people that would be on this program.
So how do they find out about you, or how do they connect?
We, Meals on Wheels being a fairly known nonprofit, we have a lot of social workers, doctors, different types of facilities will refer people to our program. And that's how we get them started. Once we get them in the program, then they're entitled to all the services.
So for instance, like I'm thinking about our community clinic, True Care, that's here in San Marcos. Do you get referrals from them?
You know, I'm not exactly, we get referrals from all kinds of different areas. And not, you know, neighbors refer people, relatives refer people. Like I say, different health companies. I mean, if somebody's being released from a hospital and they need the services, sometimes we'll have the doctors even refer them to us.
Okay, thank you.
And I think the senior center also probably would, would refer them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. Deputy Mayor.
I have one question.
Yes.
Do you have to be a senior to receive Meals on Wheels, or could somebody?
Well,
Okay,
I'm sorry,
even
go
I'm a
ahead.
senior. It's anyone over 55, I think, right?
well, for our program, it's, that's what they, over 60 years old, or the caregiver of a senior or a disabled veteran.
Okay, thank you.
I stand corrected. I thought it was 55. Someone told me it was 55. They were probably punking me because they were trying to make fun of me. Okay, any other questions? No? All right, thank you so
All
much,
right,
Dave.
thank
I
you.
appreciate you. Okay, moving on, any other discussion among the council? If not, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any other further discussion, or do I have a motion to adopt?
Move to
as is?
adopt.
Okay, second.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to second oral communications, I do have some speakers. Okay, Irma Raimundo, Villa Serena, Antoya Montoya, Villa Serena, followed by Maria Mendoza, Villa Sereno. And then also, I think we have Angelica Santiago, Villa Serena. Full comment on back of page. Oh, I think maybe she wants me to read that. Okay. So, let's see. Angelica Santiago, I will read that first. My name is Angelica Santiago, community member with Universidad Popular. I am listening to this meeting via your YouTube channel. I have been attending these meetings to best support our Villa Serena residents from Phase 2. I just want to say thank you for taking your time for listening, understanding, and engaging in last week's meetings. Also, I want to voice that I hope we learn more about the process in future relocation plans. Thank you. I do not believe we have any other redevelopment or do we, Michelle Bender?
We do not currently have any upcoming relocation scheduled that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Next would be then Irma Raimundo. Is she not here? Okay. Antonia and Maria. Are you speaking this evening? Sorry.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon to all of you.
Una vez más, aquí estoy presente de nuevo.
One more time, I'm here again.
Hasta que me reubiquen porque las opciones que habían dado el señor Chris, yo iba a elegir la segunda opción.
Until I get relocated by Mr. Chris, because he gave me some options and I had actually chosen number 2.
Ya fui a ver un apartamento que ya está disponible, que es renta regular.
I went to see an apartment which is available, but it's a regular rent.
Y como ellos habían quedado que iban a pagar el resto,
And since they had said that they would come up with the rest of the money,
ahora no califico porque mi ingreso es muy bajo.
now I don't qualify because my income is so low.
Tengo que ganar 6,000 al mes para poder agarrar ese apartamento.
I would have to be making $6,000 a month for me to be able to get that apartment.
Y mi ingreso es menos de eso.
And my income is less than that. Where am I going to end up?
Pues yo hace rato fui a hablar con el señor Chris,
I went just a little while ago to speak with Mr. Chris,
que él busque y se encuentra uno que del precio que yo puedo porque mi ingreso es muy bajo para poder agarrar una renta regular.
that he should look for an apartment for me because obviously my income is not large enough to be able to get a regular rent.
De lo contrario, yo voy a esperar
Otherwise, I'm going to be waiting
ahí voy a estar hasta que no me encuentren ellos un lugar donde me van a
And
mantener.
I'm going to remain there until they find a place for me.
Es todo lo que quería decir y muchísimas gracias
That's all I wanted to tell you.
Gracias a
Thank you so
todos.
much. Thank you to all of you
por estarme escuchando cada vez
for
que estamos
listening
aquí.
for every time that we show up.
Gracias. Buenas
Thank you.
noches.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. Thank you. I actually have a statement that I'm going to read from the city. So every family has a place to go come May 1st. The city of San Marcos has taken the concerns of our residents very seriously and worked with National Core, the project's developer, she is? Okay. To facilitate that developer's efforts to help the families that need to find new housing. 80% of the families affected by this project have already been successfully relocated or are in the process with an affordable housing development. The remaining 9 families have been offered relocation assistance that will allow them to move out in time for construction to begin. This project has been 20 years in the making and will address a critical need for family-oriented affordable housing. The new project will retain 63 low-income units with rents ranging from 30 to 60% of the area median income. Villa Serena Phase 2 Villa Serena Phase 2 will add valuable 2 and 3 bedrooms to serve larger families which have the greatest need. The project also includes a computer lab, playgrounds, and a community center with programs from the Boys and Girls Club of San Marcos. 8 of the units of the first phase are set aside for young people aging out of the foster care system. On-site services will help residents with other needs like job training, access to health care, and other support. San Marcos is proud to be the leader in the region when it comes to affordable housing. 10% of our total housing stock are set aside for affordable housing, more than any other city in. When a developer sets out to build new affordable housing, state and federal laws require that they provide relocation assistance to their existing residents. The city partners with lenders, developers, nonprofits, and/or state and federal agencies to expand the supply of affordable housing opportunities to provide incentives, policies, and direct financial assistance to increase the supply of affordable housing. The city is one of several lenders who have contributed to funding of the development of Villa Serena Phase 1 and 2. And what has the city done to help our residents? The city has worked with National Core to facilitate the developer's relocation assistance to the residents, which has included finding other available affordable units, help filling out paperwork, and their funding for moving and deposits in new homes. Our staff has also worked directly with tenants to link them to housing resources and programs, made personal calls to landlords and other affordable housing projects, provided translation assistance, and met individually with affected tenants. We have also asked the state to step in so that Villa Serena residents could get priority placement with other state-funded affordable housing projects. Okay, so we will move on to Antonia Montoya.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Señora alcaldesa y todo su grupo que está aquí
Mayor,
escuchando
and all the
siempre
group that is listening to us tonight.
nuestras necesidades que venimos a poner aquí ante ustedes.
Our need is that
Yo
the need
soy,
that we're bringing to you this afternoon.
soy Antonia Montoya y soy residente de Villa Serena y estamos esperando todavía la relocación, ¿verdad? Ahora tuve yo también una cita con el señor Chris.
My name is Mrs. Montoya, and I live in Serena, Villa Serena, and today I also had a meeting with Mr. Chris.
Vecinos aquí, estamos aquí y vengo por apoyarlos porque realmente muchos de nosotros no nos han... Ha crecido San Marcos, pero todas las personas que han sido movidas de las viviendas les han dado dinero.
I have been here for 47 years, and I know that San Marcos has grown a lot, but all the people that have moved out, they've given them money.
Y yo veo que hay mucha necesidad en madres solteras
And there's a lot of need with single moms
y de seniors también.
and for seniors.
Entonces no veo que haya mucha ayuda para esas personas a cómo están ahorita las rentas.
So I don't really see that there's a lot of help, paralleling with the price or the cost of rental.
Y muchas personas como que no saben de las leyes, pienso que se han aprovechado de la situación.
And I think that because not a lot of people know about the law, advantage has been taken of this situation.
Y ahí es donde yo quiero que ustedes, como todo el grupo que está aquí, vean lo que ahí.
Because maybe you're not aware of it, but there's people that have been living there more than 25 years.
¿Cómo es posible que esas personas ya mayores de edad nomás los avienten así a un lugar y no les den una cantidad de dinero?
How is it that they can just throw the seniors out there and not give them any money?
Para mí, lo que estoy yo mirando, que es mucha injusticia. Todo el grupo que está, pienso que tienen que, cuando hay una relocación de apartamentos, tienen que ver antes de dar un préstamo a la construcción, qué es lo que pueden hacer primero con la gente.
So as a group, and to you, Ms. Mayor, I would like to see why, actually many of us are actually suffering from depression, not being able to get out of bed, things like that, because we have no solution.
Yo quiero que me escuchen, por favor, porque aquí estamos todavía personas de Villa Serena sin ningún apartamento.
Please listen.
The city partners, so when it comes to our role, the city's role, the city partners with lenders, developers, nonprofits, and state and federal agencies to expand the supply of affordable housing with incentives, policies, and direct financial assistance to increase the supply of affordable housing. The city is one of the several lenders who have contributed funding to support the development, but we are not responsible for relocating the tenants. That is when a developer sets out to build new affordable housing, state and federal laws require that they provide relocation to existing tenants. And as far as the relocation plans, we are one of the many sources of funding assistance. Relocation requirements are set by state and federal housing programs.
Bueno, pues yo pues vengo por todos los que faltamos de relocación, ¿verdad? Por eso vengo a poner esto aquí ante su presencia de
So
ustedes.
that's why I came, to represent all the people that have no place to go and to put it at the table.
Y yo pienso que esto va a ser una experiencia para las personas que van a tumbar otros edificios. ¿Qué problemas les ponen a las personas donde están viviendo cuando van a tumbar un edificio?
I think this is going to be a lesson for the constructors, the contract people, all the problems that come up when you just try to dump a building and then you have all these people having nowhere to go. So maybe this is a lesson for them as well.
So this has been a 20-year process that has been going on. And it didn't just start, and I guess the point that I would try to make is we have listened to all of the concerns, but again, we have a role, but then also Villa Serena has a role, and their role is to relocate you in. I've been told that everyone has a place to go as of May 1st. Actually, not me personally, but the city. Sorry.
Ok, pues muchas gracias
Thank
por su
you.
atención. Okay.
Thank you so
Buenas
much
noches.
for your help.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Okay, next up is Maria Mendoza, followed by Angelica Garza.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
A la señora del cónsul
Ms. Mayor
y parte del cónsul.
and also the board meeting.
Mi nombre es María Mendoza y la razón por la que estoy esta noche aquí
My name is Maria Mendoza, and the reason why I'm here
es para denunciar que se me está privando de mis derechos de asistir a las juntas para reubicación.
that I am being forbidden to go to the meetings for relocation.
Su excusa de ellos de National Court es que yo ya tengo una reubicación, que estoy en proceso, y eso es mentira.
The reason that they're giving me is because they claim that I have already a location for relocation, but that's a lie.
Porque me están dando un apartamento en el cual aún están viviendo personas a las cuales van a desalojar para meterme a mí, que también se me hace una injusticia.
What they're trying to do is to relocate me into a place where there's a family living in there, and they will have to kick them out in order to put me in there.
Entonces, ¿cómo puede ser eso una reubicación cuando todavía están personas viviendo ahí y solamente quedan 9 días para que yo me quede en la calle con mi familia?
So, I mean, I'm not relocated either.
Para mí una reubicación es que ya tenga las llaves en las manos.
For me, relocation is me having the keys in my hand.
Y eso es realmente injusto para personas de la tercera edad, madres solteras, niños con discapacidades.
And it's unfair to seniors, to people with disability, kids with disabilities, and single mothers.
A mí me están dando la opción de ir a un hotel. Yo no puedo llevar a una niña con limitaciones de 7 años a un hotel.
They're telling me to go to a hotel, and I have a child with limitations, 7-year-old. I can't take a child to a hotel.
Y como no puedo llevar a la calle a mi hija, yo me quedaré ahí hasta que tenga una vivienda digna.
And I'm not willing to take my daughter to the hotel or to take her out to the streets, and I will be remaining there until I have a place to go.
Gracias y buenas noches.
Thank you and good evening.
Okay, next up is Angelica Garza.
No, tampoco. Muy buenas tardes, muy buenas noches a todos.
Good
disculpen.
evening to all of you.
Vengo a pedirles de favor
I'm here to ask you for a favor,
que intervengan y aseguren
that you can interfere and secure
de que nadie más sea desalojado,
that nobody else is pushed out or
igual de Villa
dislocated,
Serena,
from Villa Serena.
Porque muchos ya fueron desalojados sin beneficios.
Because many were kicked out of there without benefits.
Y les suplico por favor que se asegure
And I'm pleading that you actually make sure
que el desarrollador proporcione todos los beneficios de reubicación
that the developer goes ahead and provides all the services for relocation
a todos los inquilinos elegibles.
to all the eligible renters.
Y estoy hablando por todas las
And
personas
I
que
am
acaban de hablar,
here speaking for all the people that have spoken and the ones back in Serena.
que todavía no tenemos un lugar donde vivir.
We don't have a place to go to live.
Y eso es todo.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias.
We have been told that all of the tenants have been given benefits, that they have been offered benefits, that we have worked with the developer for all this time, and that all the relocation requirements are set by state and federal housing programs, and when the deadline approached, the city became aware of communications and other issues that were operating as barriers to effective assistance, and we acted to address those barriers. Today, we have been told that all tenants have a place to go during the rehabilitation and improvement effort, and that all tenants have been provided resources for their relocations.
Se han propuesto para hacer relocalización.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to San Diego Association of Governments. The last meeting, you actually were there some of the time, were you not? Sorry, was that not the last meeting? I don't know, it feels like. Yes, that's right. We went into closed session, yes, for 5 hours. It was a 5.5-hour meeting. We ended up, actually, it will be continued. Everything is continued until the next meeting. So there was nothing to report out of closed session, just that we had given direction to the to the negotiators. And everything's going to be coming back to the next meeting, which is this coming Friday. So the next item is League of California Cities. Councilmember Musgrove.
We meet next month.
Okay. North County Transit District, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, we met last week. Our main item of discussion, other than regular business, is I think I've been sharing with everybody that North County Transit is going to be taking over the Sorrento Valley Coaster Station as far as providing bus service from the station to various points within Sorrento Valley. Metropolitan Transit decided to discontinue that service, and so North County Transit has been working on that since the fall. It is subject to our budget coming up later, I think in June. But they've done quite a bit of outreach in the area with businesses. We're actually going to add one new pickup. There were, there were 4 in the morning. We're adding a 5th one in the morning. We're getting good representation from the businesses. So we're continuing to talk about how we can partner together to make this better transit situation than what was there before. It is going to cost us next year approximately $900,000 to provide this service, but we have to remember that we were already contributing to MTS for them to provide the service. So it's really about $500,000 of additional funds. And so it looks like, depending on budget, that will happen. And we're having a lot of good conversation to improve it from what it was before. So that's the main item. That was it.
Quick question for the Deputy Mayor. I was following along on the live link, and there was a woman, I think her last name was Coleman. I couldn't quite grasp where she fit in when she was representing somebody from the city, perhaps, Sorrento Valley area, maybe the council member from that area.
Was she sitting, oh, you were audio only?
Yep, the Zoom link never works, so I have to do it on YouTube, and it only
Okay.
gives me audio.
If she was representing the city, then yes, it would have been the council member from that.
That representative from that district?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? No? Okay, Councilmember Nunez, North County Dispatch.
We'll meet next month.
Okay. Clean Energy Alliance,
We meet Thursday.
City Council Business Visits, Infinity Labs, Councilmember Sanella and Nunez.
Yeah, I'll kick us off and then jump in, Councilwoman Nunez, whenever you're ready. So we had actually a pretty incredible visit yesterday with Tess and Amanda, and we were actually at North City at Cal State San Marcos, so it was a little bit different than our normal business visits, but we started off in the Innovation Hub, as you can see there, and then most importantly, though, we kind of transitioned over to the 4th floor, which was CSUSM's Infinity Lab. Do we have a picture of that? There's a photo of it. CSUSM's Infinity Lab is housed within their extended learning building in North City. It was completed in 2019. It's a LEED certified building, which is great for our environment and provides a state-of-the-art BSL-2 lab, don't ask me what that is, laboratory space ready for creativity and discovery. And so the university, the president has really put a big focus on innovation and different partnerships in the community, and this is really what this ended up being, was a public-private partnership. And the Infinity Lab is part of the innovations ecosystem, where the lab serves as a pipeline for ideas started at the Innovation Hub. And the lab is a research facility offering affordable laboratory bench space from 7 linear feet and up. And so essentially it's for bio entrepreneurs that are kind of just getting started in the biotech space. And if they can't afford all of the upfront facilities cost and everything, this is like a maker space where they can actually rent a smaller kind of lab desk, if you will, for right around about $750 a month. So it's very affordable. It's very competitive with other different types of spaces that kind of do the same thing within North County, and it really gives these startups an opportunity to kind of be kind of hit the ground running and do all of their experiments and have some success at that. There's 3 different startups that we met with yesterday. I believe there's 4 total, but we met with 3. The first one was Grand Pharmaceuticals, and they develop a nucleic, I don't know if I'm saying that right, acid-based on treatment for patients afflicted by cancer. And I'm not even going to try to read some of these words here. But they were very impressive. And their CEO, who we met, he's 24 years old. He graduated from Whittier, and he ran one of the labs up there in LA before he did come down here to San Marcos and started his operation out of the Infinity Lab here at Cal State San Marcos. There's a photo of the group that we met with. The gal on the right in the white coat, she's actually a graduate student at Cal State San Marcos, and that's one of the cool things about this partnership is that there's real live startup companies operating out of this lab here, and the students have a chance to get hands-on experience and really work with real life companies as they're doing their experiments and their scientific work. The second company we met with was...
Can I interrupt you,
Yeah, absolutely.
council member? Because as I'm looking at the picture, I realize that the CEO from Grant is not pictured there.
No.
And I was thinking, we were trying to guess that he's probably going to be a millionaire or a billionaire before he's even 30.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, gosh, we're going to have a picture so he can remember us, but I just realized I don't think we got one with him.
I don't think we did. So, but I would say of everybody that we met, he was kind of a little bit further along in the process and certainly has a bright future, that's for sure. We met with Indaptus Therapeutics, and they do natural ability. They work on working with bacteria to enhance the body's natural ability to activate immune pathways. Very scientific stuff. A lot of it kind of went over our heads, I think. But and then the third company that's in there is GSD Bio, which stands for Greater San Diego Biological Solutions, and they're actually a nonprofit biotechnology. I don't even think you would call them a company, but organization, and they're working on platform technology to improve, just helping folks just become more immune to the different types of, I think they were kind of doing some of the stuff with the COVID strains and,
yes,
if I remember correctly,
yes.
right? And so, yeah, so very impressive, all 3 of them working on some great things. And it's just a great an example of how, public and private partnerships can really benefit our community. And since we are the education hub in San Marcos, it's good to see that we're really bringing in the private enterprises with our students and having them learn and collaborate together.
Yeah, and then to take over where you're at, one of the things that they did mention is that they all provide intern opportunities for the CSUSM students. So that is, and the woman on the right that you mentioned, right? She's responsible for bringing all of this together and bringing the students that are part of the program. I think this is all part of the master's program.
That's correct.
That they have.
Yep.
Is it immunotherapy? I didn't hear you say immunotherapy, but you talked about. Do you know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So for instance, what they do is it's actually called immunotherapy, but a lot of time in cancer, they take out your blood, they separate your cells, and so the attackers of disease in your body, they can actually inject it into the site where you actually have a tumor, for instance, of cancer, and it can actually, they multiply it outside of your body and then they put it back in, and then it can actually fight the cancer cells at a much higher rate because it's your own body. So you have a lot less side effects. I was just wondering if they talked about that, because it's fascinating. I mean, it really is fascinating what your body can do. I mean, I talked a little bit about it earlier with just diet and food, but when you actually take out your immune system
I don't remember them specifically talking about that, but they did talk about a lot of scientific stuff.
Yeah.
And so.
I might have to go back and just listen to them, because I actually geek out on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the terms, but they actually can take out your blood, separate out your T cells, basically they're called T cells, and then they multiply them a bunch of times, put it back into your body, and then it can like go and kill a tumor. It's crazy how it can do it. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go back and see if that's what it is, because I'm really fascinated with it.
No, it is really fascinating, and I think it's also just one of those really collaborations, right, that's happening with the startup companies, and then the opportunities for the students, and how really they're growing. So it is really impressive. I thought to myself, like, wow, this is something that I think would be at UCSD, but here it is in
Infinity Labs
campus,
right here
yeah.
at CSU. Nice.
And hopefully one or more of these companies really hit it off and be really successful, and they open up a full-fledged bio firm here in San Marcos one
There's
day.
a place right there on the corner
Yep.
at Barham and Twin Oaks Valley Road. They would build to suit.
That would be perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
very impressive.
All right, Creek Project. I hate to beat a dead horse, as I call it, but what's going on with the lights?
I have an update. So the lights on the levee and the bridges are now energized and functional. The lights at the end of Via Veracruz, we have a party in the field tomorrow with our staff and the contractors to work on the defective loops that we're trying to get repaired. So there is a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. And then the good news is that things are drying out in the area, so the crews are actually able to get back into the creek to finish up the planting that we've been waiting on with all the rains.
I can tell you the community doesn't care about the plants right now. They honestly care about the lights.
And our staff deeply, deeply cares about these lights too. So we will be working with the contractors furiously.
Okay. I'm trying to stay patient, but I'm not feeling very patient. Moving on to council commentary this weekend. Please, 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 please be careful when you're driving around this weekend. On Sunday, the Belgian Waffle Ride is here for the 13th year, fourth year here at North City, and we're gonna have a lot of cyclists here. Predicted to be thousands of them that are starting at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, and it's gonna go all day, probably until and they're not always just in San Marcos, but they leave and then they come back. There are 3 races, 120 miles for the Belgian ride, the Waffle Ride. The Wafer Ride is don't say it. 76 miles, and then the Wafer Ride is 44 miles. So yeah, I've been they keep giving me different numbers, so I can't remember, but it is 76. So 44 miles, but they will be coming back until probably 7 o'clock at night on Sunday, so just be aware, be careful out there. And if you want to cheer on the riders, they actually will start to be coming back in at about 9:30. But there are thousands of them. That's why it takes so long. So again, starting at 7 a.m., first riders coming back starting at about 9:30 a.m., but it'll go all the way on probably until about 7 o'clock at night. So anyway, that's happening. A lot of excitement. If you want to cheer on your favorite cyclist, they will be out there, and they're coming from all over the world, as a matter of fact. So any other commentary from the rest of the council?
I do.
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, I have a couple comments. So since this isn't agendized, it's not for discussion, I am just sharing that I did attend the Villa Serena meeting that occurred last week. I think it was on Wednesday. Just a few facts from the meeting. There were probably about, I'm guessing, maybe close to 8 to 10 employees there from National Corps and Hope for Housing. They had 3 translators there, and they had 3 offerings for the residents. I think everybody has gotten the package. All of the packages have monetary value to them. They were in English and Spanish. So again, just want to mention that it was well attended, and Chris did a good job with the presentation. So just facts only, no discussion. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is I'm wondering if maybe staff could investigate. You know, we had our last workshop in the community center on April 11th, and there was a lot of audio issues there, and there have been for a while. We've spent money on the audio there at the community center, and I just feel like it's not fair to those who sit in the audience. I mean, on our end, we couldn't hear the other end, and you probably couldn't hear our end. So I'm just wondering if we need to rethink, have staff coordinate, figure out, is that the right place to have workshops? And maybe they should be held someplace else. I'm not dictating where it should be held, but maybe staff can figure it out. Nobody has trouble hearing here in the council chambers. So I would just like staff to revisit that, if we should have future workshops in the community center. That's all.
And the possibility could also be for staff to look into PEG funds to see if there is a way to make that space more user-friendly.
I think we've already used PEG funds.
Well, we still, maybe we didn't do the ultimate fix, and maybe we could do an ultimate fix with PEG funds, because PEG funds are restricted to being used just specifically for those types of uses. But anyway, we might look into that also.
I felt bad for people who couldn't hear what was going on. And I couldn't even hear what was going on sometimes. That's all. Anybody else have a concern with that, or is that okay for Michelle to check into it?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
either by enhancing the audio in the room or changing the venue.
All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Do you need signatures for school? Come on up.